Just setting up the live feed, and we'll be good to go here in like 20 seconds.
What do you got? A B-52?
Just iced coffee.
Oh.
Awesome. Okay, I think we're ready to roll, guys. Well, thanks for joining me too. Appreciate it. My name is Leighton. I'm one of the producers here on the SA Voice podcast. Joined as always by Danny. How you doing today, man?
Doing all right. Not too bad. It's a nice sunny day. Doing some gardening, hanging out, talking to Adam. Yeah.
Awesome. And today's guest of honor is Adam Smith from the athletics department, here to talk to us today about the rebranding process and the thought that went into the new SLC Surge. Welcome, Adam.
Leighton, Danny, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Awesome. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us today.
No problem. Anytime.
Awesome.
I think first is, what is the Surge? I remember I was scrolling through Instagram, and all of a sudden I see, the same pictures that I see, of, St. Lawrence Athletics, but now it says SLC Surge.
Yep. What's the question?
The question is, what is the Surge? What was the change? What led to that?
So the rebrand of the Viking schooners and Sharks has been something in the process for quite some time now. Officially, the ball got rolling a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And the reason for the rebrand is that previously St. Lawrence had been operating under 3 different campuses. So obviously there's Brockville, Cornwall, and Kingston. Each of those teams, the Sharks, Schooners, and Vikings, were 3 separate teams. So we weren't competing as one St. Lawrence college.
But were they playing each other?
Yes. So yeah, essentially, and part of that is that we were paying 3 separate fees as well to the OCAA and CCAA. Okay. So yeah, now we've amalgamated. We have 1 fee. We're actually one of the last colleges in all of Canada to have 3 different separate memberships to represent 1 college. So now we're, with the rest of the group. And part of the process of becoming 1 team was that we would rebrand all of the college athletics so that we could start fresh as a new team, and that's the Surge.
All right. So what does that mean for sports? So does that mean that everything's going to be kind of more divided up and between the schools, like one school gets basketball, another one gets soccer kind of thing?
Well, currently every campus has at least 1 varsity sport. So in Brockville, they have badminton. In Cornwall, a little bit of a bigger campus has indoor soccer and cross country. And then Kingston has the rest of the varsity sports. And it's really based on the population of the campuses. And that will continue to be the case.
That's good. So I'm interested in knowing how this process came to be. So take me back a year or 2 ago to when the decision was made to rebrand. What did the process look like to discovering and eventually picking Surge? I'm sure there were tons of names out there. Was it a fan vote? Was it sent out email to the students? How did you guys nail it down to Surge?
Yeah, so last fall, not the fall, just passed, but previously, we kind of put it out as a voting process, or not a voting process, but a submission process, where anybody, student, faculty, alumni, could submit a name. So we had almost 200 submissions, which was awesome. And then there was a kind of a committee made to navigate how we would then pare it down to any names that could eventually be chosen as the St. Lawrence Athletics brand. So from there, we nailed it down to 10 names. And then there was a kind of a bit of a vetting process to see, okay, does this name make sense for now and the future? And if it doesn't, then we have to cross it off the list. So yeah, there was a couple names that, wouldn't work 50 years down the road. So, we had to really pare it down.
Yeah, can you share some with us?
Well, no? I can't really share any because part of the process was confidential, but I could tell you that, if just using your better judgment and how the world is now, we have to be careful with what we name things. And you can see that trend happening all over. So it's not something that's unique to St. Lawrence, but sticking away from things that were, warfare related or had any type of negative association.
So one of those that jumps to my mind would be, for example, the Washington Redskins. So you want to stay away from stuff like that. Maybe that's a bit of an antiquated example, but even the term Viking, 50 years from now, that could even have some negative.
Yeah,
And we even had those helmets that had the horns, and Vikings
right.
didn't even have the horns, right?
Yeah, it's like with any team name, right? There's positives and negatives, and if you dig deep enough, you can find something. But part of the process and one of the benefits to this process being as long as it was is that we could really dig deep and find out as much information as possible about potential names and go from there.
Yeah.
And how did Surge come about? What does Surge mean?
Well, Surge was part of the submission process. So there was a lot of names that were submitted, and then from all of those names that went through the process, and we eventually landed on Surge. And Surge is really about energy, and the three words that come to mind that we'll be pushing through marketing: energy, momentum, power. Most commonly a surge of water, a surge of electricity. It's really about things coming together and being powerful. So, it kind of makes a lot of sense for St. Lawrence as all three campuses are now uniting as one. So we're surging together, which is the hashtag surge together. It makes a lot of sense if you look at it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So I'm interested now. What does the rebranding process look like? So obviously you guys have had your social media push. Is there going to be obviously rebranded clothing and jerseys for the three campuses, and what will that look like?
Yep. The plan currently is that we'll have new jerseys for each varsity team, everything from badminton to golf, to soccer, basketball, rugby, the whole gamut. There'll be also signage that'll be updated. So currently on the soccer field in Kingston's campus, it says Home of the Vikings. So that will obviously be changed to something else, Home of the Surge or something other branded with the new update. Other than that, we're going to roll things out as we can. There's obviously some uncertainty with the way things are. So budgets and sort of the environment pending, we're going to definitely roll it out as best we can.
How difficult was it? Oh. Yeah, that was my question. How difficult was it to pick a brand but have the colors dictated to you?
Well, the colors were never on the table for changing. We want to maintain our black, red, and white. We used to be blue, believe it or not, but for the last little while we've been black, red, and white, and those colors weren't changing. And if you look at the corporate logo with the waves, we're really mirroring that. And behind me, you can see the logo. There's, if you look at it, there's now 3 waves representing each campus, and they're woven together to create an S, right? So there's a lot of imagery there that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't even see it because, or I didn't see it like that way as the waves and everything, right? That's pretty cool that you guys did that.
Yeah, it comes together. I mean, it's got a little bit of a superhero vibe, which is kind of it'll be fun to market it that way.
It's okay, yeah. So, when was Surge chosen, and how long did you guys have to kind of sit on that name and this announcement? How long have you guys been sitting on it?
Well, the process takes a while because there's a few channels it has to go through for approval, right? So there's the submission stage, which happened in the fall, and then there was the paring it down, which happened fall in the winter into the winter, and then probably I want to say end of January we had a name, and we're starting on an identity to look at and piece together to see what this could actually look like when it was fully formed. And then from there, we had to go to the CET and the board for approval of the name and the logo. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple months for sure.
What has what has been the most challenging part and the part that you're most proud of, if you can break that up into 2 parts for us?
I guess the challenge is trying to appease everybody. So that's, unique to St. Lawrence is that our campus is 2 hours apart. From here to Cornwall. So there's a vast difference in campus size and population. So making sure that all parties involved are happy and excited and on board to, rejuvenate this brand. That's the challenge. I think we've definitely accomplished that. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. So that's great. I think the thing that we'd all say that we're most proud of is the fact that we've come up with a unique look that actually makes a lot of sense. So, we're not a team with a picture of a dog as the logo, because that just there'd be no resemblance or anything to what St. Lawrence is. But we've landed on something that represents the college, and not only the college, but also the waterway that unites us all. So, it is supposed to be 3 waves connected into an S. So, it makes a lot of sense. And I think for me, that's what I'm most proud of, is that we've come up with something that makes sense in so many different layers.
Was there like a logo or like a Viking before, like on the uniforms or the scooter?
The last Viking logo was just the word Viking, and actually the V in the Viking was, it almost looked like a U because it was supposed to be like a Viking ship.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that, I mean, it was a word logo essentially, nothing fancy, but that's what it was for quite some time. I know in the very past, when I was a varsity athlete, like a long time ago, there was some mock-ups for what a new Viking logo could look like, but they never landed. And you can imagine why. I mean, Vikings is a very masculine a type of brand. So, I mean, you have to try and be careful with that. So the Viking word logo that we've had for quite some time worked for what it was. And, it was time for a refresh.
Right.
Yeah.
How has your experience in the marketing kind of field and background kind of helped with this transition? And how much did your team kind of have to lean on outside help to kind of go through with this? Because I know rebranding is kind of a marketing, it's a business thing.
Yep.
It may not be an athletic forte. How did you guys kind of manage that?
Yeah, we worked very closely with the marketing department at St. Lawrence. They took the lead on the design of the logo and making sure that everything fit the pieces that we needed to fit. So they, kudos to them for what they've developed. I think having me in the college athletics department is definitely a benefit because I come from a sports marketing background. And I do a lot of Photoshop and that kind of thing on the side. So, and in my job. So, I mean, that lends itself well to executing the brand once it's been developed. So anything you see moving forward now is probably coming through my desk. And I think that me with that experience is a huge benefit to the department.
Nice. And do you have like final say, final word, or at least, some sort of like voting rights on what goes out?
What do you mean by goes out? Like what we
So
publish
like with the logo and all that, did you have any hand in that?
Well, we were part of the review process. So, we would get much like working with a creative agency, we would get
Right.
drafts from marketing, and Kevin Biggs, the manager of athletics, and I would go through it and make sure that it's kind of checking off all the boxes. And again, kudos to marketing. They did a great job. So yeah, we were definitely on the review panel for it.
So between choosing the new logo, Surge, so let's say you've chosen Surge, you want to move forward with Surge, how quick was the turnaround to go from having chosen your logo and your brand to where we are today? How fast did you come up with a release and a social media plan and the design?
Well, because of the way the climate is today, the process was pushed around a little bit. Typically we would have had our athletic banquet on like the first or early second week of April. So this year it was supposed to be April 8th or 9th. I can't remember the date now that we're in, I don't know, what are we in, August now? It was supposed to be the beginning of April, but with how everything went down, we had to push that back. So the brand reveal would have been at the end of the banquet at the beginning of April. So because of the climate, we had to push things back. We had a little bit more time to fine tune things and tweak them. And the plan always was from the beginning to unveil the new logo at the end of the banquet, because the captured audience at the banquet are the end users, right? They're the varsity athletes. We want them to be excited first and foremost. So we ended up accomplishing that, which was cool with our video awards on YouTube. And yeah, so it all stayed the same, but the turnaround was pretty tight because of everything being pushed back from March, right, when we got sent home. So the process became a virtual process, but still, nonetheless, we came through.
And speaking of those athletes, what was their first initial reaction to the rebranding? How did the athletes like it?
We haven't heard much negative, that's for sure. We had over 500 people viewing the athletic banquet, which for us is a huge number and probably the largest it's ever been. That's just the viewership to date on YouTube. A lot of overwhelmingly positive messages from staff and faculty. We're not as in tune with the athletic or the varsity athletes right now, just because we're all at home and a lot of them still had work to do, schoolwork online. So we made a point not to kind of push them too far because we wanted them to focus on their education and get through school, because obviously the times are weird. But yeah, it's been positive for sure, and really excited to get back to work.
And so like obviously this has been pretty unprecedented. Nobody really expected us to be at home right now, for the last 2 months, or like you said, however long it's been. What Surge look like coming back in the fall?
Well, it's all up in the air. It's, you know, we'll hear some news coming down the pipeline in the coming days or weeks, but there's, you know, until we know for sure, there's really nothing I can confirm, because, you know, I can't confirm anything I don't know. So
Right.
we just have to cross our fingers and toes and hope that we're back. Yeah, it's definitely unprecedented and not where we want to be. We want to be on the field and in the classroom and in the office, but, you know, we have to do what's the safest procedure, and that's doing what we're told at this point.
Yeah. What's a safe sport, not so physical or so much contact, that would be good to have coming back?
Well, I mean, you could do singles badminton. You're at least 6 feet apart in singles
There you
badminton.
go.
Golf is obviously, you know, they're about to open up golf course by the sounds of it. So golf could be a feasible sport if, you know, if the semester is on or in person or not. I don't know how it's going to look if everything's online or not, but yeah, most
We'll
other
play some
sports are
virtual
pretty
golf
close.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
esports is coming, so
hopefully those team sports are able to get back soon. I know our soccer, our rugby, our basketball are 3 of our stronger teams, and it'd be great to see the athletes in the new uniform. So hopefully we get that chance this fall for sure.
And I want to come back to that, what you're saying about esports coming. So we are getting an esports league or team together.
Putting you on the spot, Adam.
no, there's nothing formal right now, but we did start dabbling into esports intramurals. So we did a few rounds of that in April. It's just kind of a test or a feeler to see if there's an interest in that. And, you know, we know that there is an interest. It's just a matter of capitalizing it on it while people are at home and looking to do something. It's something that a couple of us in the office have thrown around for some time now. It's just, you know, with varsity on the go and actual intramurals, it's something that we just push down the line, because, you know, we have to focus on what we're there for. But now with everybody home, we can put a new focus on something else, and that's, you know, I think esports is going to definitely rise.
Yeah, and that would be good too, because that is definitely a sport that you can do from home.
Yep, definitely.
So just going back to the release, when you guys kind of made the announcement a week or two ago, you guys kind of had a unique kind of take on how to release it. And I'm speaking specifically of Ron Perlman. So we've had a few people kind of ask, how did that end up happening? How'd you guys get him involved? What was the idea behind the crazy Star Wars poster as well? I really like that kind of that cross branding from a marketing student perspective. That was cool to see. Talk me through the thinking behind some of that.
I mean, starting with Star Wars, I mean, it was May the 4th be with you. So it's, you know, you either do something or you don't. So, my fiance told me to do something like that, so I kind of ran with it. So I'll give her all the credit on that. I just photoshopped faces on the pictures, but it turned out well. That was cool. But Ron Perlman, I actually am connected through somebody else to Ron Perlman, because I used to work for a social media company based out of Los Angeles. And Ron Perlman was one of our first clients. So
Really?
yeah, so when we were going through this process, I kind of reached out to my old contacts there, and we made it happen.
That's great.
Nice.
So did you get to talk with him personally, or was what did that process look like? And was there compensation involved for him? Was it a volunteer thing? What can you speak on for
the
that?
process at this time around, I have had connections and conversations with him through email, but nothing in person or over the phone or anything like that. But the process was, I just texted the guy who owns the social media company, who's very close with Ron, and we kind of just made it happen. And, you know, probably quarantine and self-isolation played a good part in it, because, you know, some of us aren't doing too much these days. And Ron's a great guy. If you ever had a chance to listen to his book, the Easy Street the Hard Way, it's a great listen to learn about who Ron is. But yeah, in terms of compensation, totally free of charge. He did that,
Wow.
no cost to college, which is awesome, because, you know, typically that might cost a lot of money. So
No kidding.
yeah, definitely leveraged some great connections, and I have Patrick Carson, who will listen to this at some point, to thank for all that. So thank you, Patrick.
Nice.
There you go. Is that the gentleman who owns the media company in LA?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Right
Yeah,
on.
he gave me a chance a bunch of years ago, and I've made some cool connections and projects from there.
It's all about who you know and fostering those relationships. That's
Yes, sir.
definitely what we're learning for sure. So
Yeah, speaking of projects, Adam, so a few months ago, you put on, you were, there was going through some Instagram posts, and this girl with no name was put up by you. And then I was looking into it. It's a pretty cool little graphic novel.
It is, yeah.
What was your role in it? What did you have to play in it?
I literally just designed a number of pages in the book, not actually drew or draw the pages, but laid out some of the additional pages. So not the actual graphic novel part itself. That was a real artist that got paid for that. But some of the other additional pages, like publisher letters and fan art and all, and just a lot of that additional pages. But the thing that I'm probably most proud of is the cover was designed by me. So again, I didn't draw the actual picture of the girl with no name, but I laid out the cover, and I get cover credits for that. So definitely one of the more unique projects I've been a part of.
Yeah, it says it's going to be a movie too.
Yeah, so the idea behind that was that they were going to do a Kickstarter campaign, and if it was successful, they would then push it to a movie, and it ended up becoming the most successful comic book Kickstarter campaign in history, I believe. So the movie will definitely get made. Whether or not I get a knock on the door to help with that or not, it's up in the air, but definitely just happy to be a part of it.
good for you, man.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
exciting
that is
news,
really cool. Yeah.
That's exciting to see
So,
those
yeah,
passion projects, eh?
Yeah, and it's cool because it's a female-led project. So while I'm a man, I got to be involved in something that is primarily being made by women, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
And if we wanted to buy a copy, where could we get one?
If you Google Legion M, you should be able to, or Girl with No Name and Legion M. Legion M is the company that they're producing the book and eventual movie. So if you Google that, you can find the Kickstarter or the shop page, and there's definitely books there. It's pretty reasonable cost to buy. If you want a book with my name in it.
Yeah, maybe I can put the link in below the YouTube video after we end our live session here, and we can link some people that way.
Absolutely.
So thanks for the info, Adam. So speaking more on a personal side, we kind of ask most of our guests this, but how have you and your family been doing through this whole COVID-19 crisis, and what are you looking forward to the most to coming back when this lifts in a few months, hopefully?
I mean, it's awesome to be at home. It's like I tell anybody who's working and has kids at home that I've spoken to while self-isolating. I have a young child. He's currently almost 10 months old. I would have never gotten this time with him otherwise, right? So unless I took a paternity, or he is 10 months old, sorry, I would have never had this time with him or my young kid in any other opportunity in the world. So while it's very uncertain and more negative than positive that everybody's at home and this whole thing's happening, and blessed to have that time with him that I'll never ever have again potentially. So that's a true benefit to being at home. My job, I'm very fortunate that I can work from anywhere with an internet connection and a computer. So it hasn't affected me the way it affects other people who really rely on being in the office or at their workstation. I can work from the couch, I can work in bed, I can work at a desk, and I can still do the same level of work that I could do in the office, which is awesome. You miss those connections though, so that's probably the thing you miss the most, is seeing the people that you work with in the halls and the team that gets it done around you. So that's the dark side to being at home. You don't get to work with your team.
Yeah, exactly. We feel that too here, even on the Voice podcast, having to set up all these meetings and book guests. It's definitely a different flavor to it, being all virtual. I got one more question for you.
Sure.
Quarantine ends tomorrow. What's the first thing you do? What do you go by? Where do you go? Who do you see? Who do you hug? What's the first thing you do?
Well, we'll skip the who do you hug part because like that, I don't want to leave anybody left out. But I'll tell you what I would do if quarantine ended tomorrow and it was like 2 years ago. I'd go to Chapters.
Oh, really?
I mean, the Indigo's is at the mall now, but is it Indigo or Chapters? Indigo.
Yeah.
Right? Indigo.
Yeah.
At the Cataraqui Center. We go there at least once a week, and I miss that place more than anything else.
Yeah.
And the old chapters, if you were in Kingston when that was here, if you've been to the one in Belleville or any other one where it's actually still like a giant, I don't know, it's just great. It feels like you're somewhere else for sure. But I miss the environment of that store and all the books and the Starbucks and all that kind of thing. But yeah, the mall in general, man, I just want to go to the mall.
There you go, mall rat. I love it.
Yeah, I just want to go to the mall and walk around and buy nothing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Window shop.
Yep.
There you go. Awesome. Danny, you got any more questions?
No, just Adam, where can people find you, follow you?
Instagram and Twitter at only Adam Smith. Facebook, good luck finding me because my name's Adam Smith. But for athletics, the new website is slcsurge.com.
Okay.
So if you want to find us there, it's just slcsurge.com or .ca. And on social media, it's all been switched over to SLC Surge. So
Awesome.
that's
Nice.
it.
Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you to both of you. Appreciate your time. Adam, great having you on as always. This is, I think, your third time now. You're a guest of honor. So an esteemed guest, we always appreciate having on, and we'll probably talk to you again this summer.
Definitely.
Right on, Adam. Thanks
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time, guys. Take care.